With Steve Austin still contacting CM Punk and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. During an interview with Forbes, Stone Cold Steve Austin spoke about the differences between the Attitude Era and modern pro wrestling, saying the performance level has sped up so much, and the guys and gals are doing so much incredible stuff. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's kind of like being such a big football fan. I was just watching clips of Mean Joe Green of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I used to be a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and you watch those greats from back then into what the guys are doing now, and the guys now are just so much quicker, faster. Of course, everything is. The camera's better. These days, even though if I look back at Attitude Era stuff, I look like I'm in slow motion watching what these superstars today are doing with better cameras and just better athletes. I really enjoy some of the sequences that they're able to do, but then that also takes me back to one of the things that I don't like is sometimes I think there's too much being done. Recalling how she ended up signing an AEW contract, Skye Blue said this on the company's Unrestricted podcast. "I cried a lot when I got the All Elite graphic, because I remember my first extra work was the pandemic days in Jacksonville, and I remember being terrified. I remember being an extra in that crowd shaking, and my first day of extra work was Queen Eminata's first day of extra work too, which was really freaking awesome. But I remember sitting there and we're like, crap, that's gonna be us. We're sitting in the crowd. We're gonna have to go get in that ring. And I remember they told me my first match was against Britt Baker. I was like, oh, it's just Britt Baker, and then this is Dustin Rhodes. I wasn't back until the All Out 2021 that I got signed, and then to see it go from I remember cheering in the crowd to like 2 a.m. or whatever it was to getting the graphic and being able to, I FaceTimed my mom because Christopher Daniels had told me, he's like, hey, yeah, they want to put the graphic out today. I just texted her like, hey, just be prepared for something. And she's like, what the hell does that mean? She's spamming my phone while I was in the makeup chair, so I FaceTimed her and I just sent her the picture of the graphic because Twitter put it out first and she was crying, screaming on the phone, and it made me cry. I'm sitting in the makeup chair, I'm trying not to cry, and I put makeup on my face. I'm gonna ruin it because I never thought I was gonna make it to that point because I wanted to do this for so long, and AEW has been the dream company since I was running around on the indies. So it was the fact that he was like, yeah, it's for real. I was like, oh, it's actually real. Like, what? Revealing how WWE worked out a deal with Bad Bunny to wrestle, CEO of the company Nick Khan said during Moffett Nathanson's recent conference call, "It started during the pandemic. There was a New York Times Sunday magazine cover with Bad Bunny on it. I didn't know Bad Bunny's music that well at the time. This was pre-vaccine COVID, so October 2020. Read the article, and a young lady who works with us said, I don't know if you know, but Bad Bunny is a huge wrestling fan. Showed me his Instagram feed. Triple H, when he was active, did this water routine with his entrance. Bad Bunny did it at a Miami Heat game. He's a huge fan. We sat there on Bad Bunny, and this guy, who was not yet the #1 artist, but certainly seemed on a path to that, he was not touring. He was sitting at home like all the rest of us. We reached out to him. What do you think of this? Yeah, I'd love to do it. He came in, lo and behold, our Spanish viewership on the show, he was on spiked by 30 or 40%. Obviously, the relevancy factor mattered. He wanted to do more and more. Khan then noted how WWE brought in Logan Paul. We also replicated that in a different demographic category with Logan Paul, who we were getting pitched on internally by our entertainment relations folks. Logan Paul is going to be the next big thing. He came in and took it seriously, as did Bad Bunny. It registered. It mattered. Our young audience spiked. Our bread and butter are our full-time superstars. But to be able to bring in Bad Bunny and Logan Paul and Pat McAfee at different points, it just increases awareness, which is good for us. Mentioning his business relationship with Paul Heyman, Rob Van Dam told Steve Fall of 10 Count, although he was taking care of me pretty good, it still felt like the longer I was there, the deeper hole I was digging for myself. And so that's why eventually I was like, look, I'm not going to be getting paid this, and another type of company is going to be around much longer. So when I left, I think it was just before their last show, if I'm not mistaken. But the very loose number, though, was 150 grand. With Cameron Grimes making his way from NXT to the main roster recently, Sean Ross Sapp said Cameron Grimes has several people backstage in WWE pulling for him and has for quite some time. Grimes was officially called up to SmackDown during the 2023 draft, but WWE had been eyeing him for a call-up for ages. Months before that, he wrestled a dark match before SmackDown, and by that time, WWE had plans for him to be called up already. Several WWE higher-ups, including Triple H, were said to have been fans of his work and saw potential in him on the main roster. It's worth noting that in addition to higher-ups, several agents and producers also spoke highly of his work, and numerous had experience in working with him in the past. One longtime WWE employee told Fightful that they saw Grimes as a slam dunk and that he could work any number styles. At a recent live event, Cody Rhodes could be seen calling out both Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Here's the video.
My theory is that the reason that Roman Reigns didn't want to be here is because he is afraid of me. And that theory also extends to my opponent at Night of Champions, Brock Lesnar. I'm gonna make you a promise. The next time I come back here, my promise is this. I hope to have defeated Brock Lesnar not just once, but twice. And I also hope that I'll be wearing some gold around my waist. Thank you guys very much.
On My Business, Eric Bischoff was asked about the differences between WCW and WWE, where he said that's true. One of the things that I think Vince McMahon gets a lot of credit for, things that I think he shouldn't get credit for. I don't think he's the most creative person in the world. I never have, I never will. I mean, he is creative, don't get me wrong. I am not taking anything away from his creative. He's come up with some amazing stuff, but he's also the bed frequently, where Vince is true genius in my opinion, and this is the part that is so rare. This is where Vince, in his own way, falls into the category, so this will be controversial, but people like Elon Musk, Vince McMahon, Michael Bloomberg, those people who build, they start out with a vision. They're sitting in a lawn chair somewhere drinking a beer, or they're sitting on a beach or walking down the street and they have an idea, just an idea. They're able to take that thought, this intangible neuroelectrical impulse, and turn it into a tangible, viable vision that employs thousands of people and generates billions of dollars. With Seth Rollins set to face AJ Styles for the World Heavyweight title, Ringside News noted that Seth Rollins is set to etch his name in the annals of wrestling history at Night of Champions. He will become the first WWE superstar to participate in 3 debut championship matches. These include the 2012 NXT Championship, the 2016 Universal Championship, and the impending 2023 World Heavyweight Championship. When asked if he would allow his children to pursue a career in professional wrestling, AJ Styles told Inside the Ropes, "Nah, well, I would imagine once like, okay, I'm chasing this dream. He is chasing his dream of baseball, so he's still got one more year of high school and then go to college and play, but we'll see where that ends up. It's not for everybody, and he has more potential than I ever had to do greater things than I had, but it may come to a point where they go, well, this didn't work out, that didn't work out, Dad, do you mind training us? And if that comes to that, I wouldn't mind doing it. I think where we're at in WWE and other places, it's a better atmosphere than it's ever been. It's not all that drinking and drugs. I'm not saying it doesn't go on, but it's not all about that as it was before. I think it's a better atmosphere for kids to actually have a future doing something they enjoy. If my kids want to do it, listen, 15 years ago, I'd say absolutely not. No way, Jose. But now it's different. I don't mind it so much. Touching on what it would take for him to make a return to WWE, Matt Cardona said this to Barstool Wrestling. The 2 C's have to be right, the cash and creative. When asked, is there an amount of cash that can make the creative not matter as much? Not for me, not for me. And she, Steph DeLander, needs to come along. For an interview with Forbes, Steve Austin spoke about CM Punk, where he said, "Man, I just sent Punk a message last night. I didn't know he had torn his triceps. I haven't been following anything. I don't know what's going on with that. Me and Phil trade messages every here and there. We rarely talk, probably once or twice a year. I love the guy, and I don't even know if I mentored him because Punk's probably a lot smarter than I am. Great promo guy, great worker. He's got his own thing going and we're just friends." So I think I remember there's a picture of myself and him from Chicago, my favorite town to work in, my favorite building, and I guess he had come down to where we were all hanging out. Maybe he looked up to me back in the day, but I don't know if I so much mentored him because I think he paid his own dues. He learned it the way he did, and he got over on his own merits. The fact that maybe I could have been somewhat of an influence would be flattering if that were the case, but he's made his own career. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.